Today we're going to use Geogebra to reflect an object in the X and Y axis. So let's get started. We've got our X axis and our Y axis. I'm going to create the pre-image in the first quadrant. I'm going to begin doing this by going to the polygon tool, and I'm going to create my object by clicking, and I'm creating an oddly shaped object so we can tell what we're doing. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label each of the points here. I'm going to do a name and label. I do that. I click the arrow button. I click on the point. I go to the text button, name and value, name and value. And this not only labels the point, but it gives its coordinates. That's going to be very important so that we can track those. So now I have my shape, my object, and I've labeled A through E, including the coordinates. I want to first reflect it in the x-axis, so I'm going to the reflection tool. This is actually the transformation tool. I'm going to click it. I'm going to reflect it about the line. You see when I do this, the directions on how to do that shows up down here at the bottom. I reflect about the line. It tells me how to do it. First I click the object, then I click the line, and immediately it's reflected. You'll notice that we have A and A prime, pre-image and image prime, B, B prime. Take a close look at what these coordinates are doing. In the pre-image, coordinates for B are 5, 1. In the image prime, the coordinates for B prime are 5, negative 1. So that I can make sure I can easily tell the pre-image from the image, I'm going to turn on my arrow button. I'm going to click on the image, and notice I can come up here and change the color. I'll click this color. I'd like to make it green, and I want to make it darker. So now we have reflected this object in the x-axis. Let's go now and reflect it in the y-axis. So I'll go to my transformation button, click reflect about the line, click the object, click the y-axis, as that is the line of reflection, but there it is. Again, notice A prime and A. When I click across the y-axis, each of these points is 2 units from the y-axis. Notice that A is 2, 1. Once I reflected A across the y-axis, it became negative 2, 1. So one of the things you'll need to do today is to create a rule that tells us what happens to the coordinates of each point as we reflect the object across the x-axis and then the y-axis. Before we finish up here, we'll go to the selector tool. We'll change the color. Let's make this one purple. I think that's the purple button. Yes. Well, it's pink. That works well too. So now we have reflected the original pre-image across the x-axis, and then we reflected it across the y-axis. And that is how you reflect an object in the x and y axis using GeoGebra.